Welcome to the It's Never Too Late show. I'm Monica Topetti, your guest host. And today I'm turning the tables on Suzanne Oshima. She's a life and love transformational coach. And today we are talking about a very hot topic. 3 key signs that he's not looking for a serious relationship. This is going to be a good one. But before we get started, Suzanne, could you tell us a little bit about the ladies that you work with and why?
Sure. So thanks, Monica, for turning the tables on me. I love doing this. So I help single women in midlife transform midlife into their best life and find love again in their next chapter. And why I focus on women in midlife is because I have found that, sometimes society can make women in midlife feel like, the forgotten woman or it's too late for us. And here's what I want all women in midlife to know is that it's never too late. It's never too late to find love again. But you have to stop listening to what society says so that you can move forward and find love again.
That is so true. It's all the other voices out there that tell us, what midlife is and what it isn't. And, that's why we need people like you who are experts in the field of love to help us navigate these midlife dating waters. So on that note, let's jump into today's topic. Now, finding love again online is something that is really popular nowadays. It's like the number one way to meet a guy. But while there is a lot of really great guys online, not every guy is out there to have a serious relationship. What? Can you tell us about that a little, Suzanne?
I know. So while we would like to think that most people on online dating sites, are looking for a serious relationship, some people, aren't ready for a serious relationship, although they think they are. And so they don't take it as seriously. But then also there are some men that are just looking for that fling. And while that's unfortunate for the women that are looking for serious relationships, it's important to look out for some of the signs that a man isn't looking for a serious relationship.
Aha, you said the magic word. Signs. We need signs. How can a woman weed out these guys so she doesn't waste her time?
I know. So it's really important is to really watch out for these signs because here's what I know is what I find is that a lot of people, both men and women, when they're looking for love online, is that they can get blinded by the chemistry and attraction. And so if there's a lot of chemistry and attraction and you can have a lot of chemistry and attraction with somebody who's not looking for anything serious, that
True.
doesn't mean he's the right man for you. So it's important to watch out for these signs. And the first one is what I call, his actions don't match his words. Is he tells you all those amazing things about you. He promises you the world. He tells you, I'm looking for something serious, yet all his actions where he's not reaching out, he reaches out sporadically. You feel like half the time he's disappeared off the face of the earth and he's not really moving it to the next level, seriously. And so you start to feel that uneasiness of, I'm looking for something serious, but I feel like he's not really in it for, a real relationship. So that's important to watch out for. Watch a man's actions, don't listen to his words.
For sure. And I think you hit the nail on the head when you're talking about that chemistry thing, because it doesn't matter if we're 14 or 44 or 64. Once those hormones fire up and, we're feeling the chemistry, I mean, sometimes we're like, wow, I didn't know I could even feel this way again. So those hormones really take hold. So we have to step back. I'm hearing you say step back and kind of really just take a look at his words, how he's wooing you versus his actions, right?
Yeah, yeah. And you
Perfect.
know, the like you talked about is whether you're 14, 6, 44, or 64, it doesn't matter. And if we haven't felt those butterflies in our stomach, that excitement in a long time, it can be addicting. And so sometimes we can run towards it even though it's not good for us. So,
Yeah. Yeah. What does that mean? We're still going after bad boys after,
yeah,
after
basically,
any
but we
feelings?
probably call it something different. Like in our 20s and 30s, we were like, oh, I'm attracted to the bad boy. But now we may say something different. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. It's just a bad boy in different clothing, I think. So okay, so let's be a little bit more mature about this. We're evaluating his actions and his words. Is it okay to ask him if he's like looking for a serious relationship? And if so, when is the proper time to do that?
Well, before we jump into that, though, I want to
Okay.
give you number two and number three
Oh,
because I
there's
forgot.
more. Oh, amazing. Okay.
Yeah, the two other sides I haven't given you yet.
Okay.
So number two is to watch out for the man that keeps doing the stepping in and stepping out thing, right? Is like I said, is, you know, when in the beginning stages of dating, he doesn't have to be in constant contact with you, but if he, you know, you see him one week and then he texts you after the date and then you hear crickets for the next couple of weeks and then he doesn't ask you out for another date and then all of a sudden he reappears, you know, like 3 weeks later and is like, hey, what are you doing this weekend? Want to get together? And
Yeah.
it's like, you know, he gets a pass the first time, but if he keeps doing that, that tells you that he may not be serious. But again, that's where you want to start watching. Is it moving forward? Like,
Okay.
are you starting to see him more on a regular basis, right? Or is
Got
it
it.
still, again, he's doing the stepping in, stepping out thing, and then he disappears?
Right.
And there's no reason why someone should disappear for 3 weeks at a time and you hear nothing. Because now with cell phones, everybody can text.
Yes.
You don't have to
Yes.
call, but text, right?
Yeah, you can't go like my dog ate my cell phone. That's not going to cut it
Yeah,
anymore.
that worked in grade school, but not
Yeah,
now.
right, right. My
Yeah.
landline shut down. Yeah, you're right. I mean, we live with our phones. So that's, it's a blessing, I think, and a curse. But you're right. We are so accessible these days, so easy to get a hold of that you can't make really an excuse of, no longer, not being accessible. It's just, it's not the world that we live in anymore.
Yeah, yeah. So the third sign
Yes.
that he's probably not looking for a serious relationship
Okay.
is that after several months of dating,
Yeah.
right? You may not be exclusive yet,
Okay.
but you don't feel like it's progressing anywhere. Like you should always feel like it's going to the next stage. You shouldn't always feel like, oh,
Right.
there it goes again. He disappeared for 3 weeks. You should feel like, oh, now I'm starting to see him more often. Now he's starting to make plans with me for next weekend. And that you feel like it's moving to the next level and then the next level and the next level. So that by the time he asks you to be exclusive is that you feel like you've taken each step in the process. You shouldn't feel like you're not progressing anywhere, right?
Got it. Got it. So it's evolving and developing. So just to recap for everybody, if you're taking notes, actions aligning with words, number one. Number two, not disappearing for like 3 weeks and then resurfacing and giving some fake reason why he couldn't call, because we all have cell phones. And then number three is the relationship is no longer progressing. It's no longer moving in a forward direction. It's kind of gone stagnant or maybe even backward, right?
Yeah, and you know, part of the problem with that is that when there's so much going back to the chemistry and attraction, is that when he comes back around, is then you forgive him for everything and you're like, oh, well, he must have been busy. And then you're like, oh, but you're so excited. And then that's where we start accepting crumbs instead of, you know, again, that it should be moving forward naturally. So,
Okay. Yeah, we don't want crumbs, ladies.
No,
We're too good for crumbs.
I need the
Maybe
full
too
meal.
far for crumbs.
Exactly. But so now to answer that question, what you asked earlier
Yeah.
is it okay for a woman to ask what he's looking for? And the answer is yes.
Okay.
And what I always say to women is because I know it can be scary to ask that question. What are you looking for? And you're not asking them, am I right for you? But
Okay.
you're asking, what are you looking for in general? Right? Are you looking for a serious relationship?
Mhm.
Do you see yourself like, do you want to get married again? Some
Right.
men will say flat out, I never want to get married again. I've been
Right.
married once or twice before. I'm
Right.
done.
Right.
Right? So why not find that out early on rather than months to a year of being exclusive is finding
Right.
out he never plans to get married again and you're in the place of no, I really want to get married again.
Right. Right.
So it's okay to say, hey, I'm just curious. What are you looking for in the future? Are you looking for a serious relationship? And some men will say yes, and some men will say no. I'm just looking to have fun.
Yeah.
And trust me, when a man says no, I'm just looking to have fun, that's code for I want to see as many women as I can, and I'm just looking for sex.
Right.
And that's okay. You can't fault him for that.
No.
But
No.
when you know that, it means that you shouldn't put all your eggs in one basket. Is keep dating multiple men. Could he
Right.
figure out later on that you may be the woman for him and he wants? Yes, of course he could. But again, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Date multiple men. And then if he turns out to be the right person for you and he decides that he wants to be with you, then it will naturally lead to that.
Okay, so question. Should you be asking, number one, two-part question.
Okay.
Number one, when should you be asking him this question? That's part A. And then part B is if a guy says he doesn't know or he's like just wants to date until he finds that right woman and you say don't put all your eggs in that basket, should you continue to date him as well as other people, or should you, kind of cut your losses and move on at that point?
No, so like I said, let's answer the first question. When should she ask that? I
Yeah.
say, ask it within the first month of dating. Okay.
Okay.
But I'm not going to give you like, you should ask it on the first call or the second call or the first date, third date. You have to ask it when it comes up organically in conversation because you
Okay.
don't want a man to feel like he's being interrogated.
Yeah.
Right? And
Right.
so it could naturally come up in this way. So, what made you, decide you wanted to do online dating? And he answers whatever he answers and blah blah blah. And then you could say, "Well, what are you looking for? Are you looking for a serious relationship or are you just looking to just have fun? What are you looking for?"
Right.
So that's a way it could come up organically. But, if on the first call you're talking about interest and things like that, and well, what are you looking for? That's going to
Yeah.
be weird. So it's important to just let the conversation come up organically. And then to answer your second question of, if he says that should she stop dating him and, cut her losses, is if you like him, continue to date him. But
Okay.
like I said, is date other men at the same time. Because sometimes a man will see competition and then he may all of a sudden wise up and go, oh my God, I don't want her dating other men.
Right.
I think she's amazing. I want to be exclusive with her. And so he'll ask you to be exclusive. But, just keep moving along.
Okay. Got it. Okay. Good advice. Good advice. During the relationship, if you haven't had this discussion, or maybe you have, and you're thinking he might be able, you might be able to sway him, or that kind of thing, and you're dating other guys, are there any like concrete indicators that you're just kind of wasting your time, that he's never looking for or not looking for a serious relationship with you?
Yeah, so before I answer that, I want to address something that you said, because I know some women think like that.
Okay.
Is you had mentioned, if she could sway him, which means, like try and change his mind about, wanting a serious relationship. And the answer is, you can't change a man into, oh, you're going to want a serious relationship when, you meet me. Could he? Of course he could, but your intent shouldn't be, oh, I'm going to try and sway him, because that's an uphill battle. That's like trying
Yeah.
to climb a mountain with pulling him up with you. Let him figure it out on his own. Just be the most amazing woman you could be, both inside and out, and let him come to the conclusion on his own without you trying to convince him or sway him into, don't you want a serious relationship with me? So
I had a really hot date last night. Aren't you jealous?
yeah. Yeah, and I don't believe in either, playing games either. It's just be yourself. The right man will figure it out. The wrong man will keep playing games and make you feel like, oh, I've got a ton of other women along the side, right?
Right.
So how she will know it's time to move on
Okay.
is, I'm not going to lie, it's going to be hard. If you have a lot of chemistry and attraction, this is where it's hard for women to go, you know what? He's the wrong man for me, because that chemistry and attraction keeps you sucked in, right?
Yeah.
So it's important for a woman to really, take an assessment of herself, like remove the chemistry and attraction,
Okay.
and really start to ask yourself, is this the type of relationship that I want to be in? The type of man who keeps doing the stepping in and stepping out things, stepping in and stepping out. And the inconsistencies of whether he's there or he's not, the inconsistencies of the things he says, whether he acts on them or not, or you always feel like you're on this shaky ground. And not to say that, 3 months in, you should be on stable ground. That's not what I'm saying. But 6 months to a year, and you've been dating this man and you're not exclusive yet, and you always feel like it's inconsistent. You always feel like you're wanting more, but he's not giving you what you need. At a certain point, you have to really take a step back and ask yourself, is this truly the type of man that I want to be in a relationship with?
Right. And I think that's super tough when sometimes there's some famous movie from some quote, I'm in love with the man you could almost be, or, there's a cute quote, and it's like, sometimes you see glimpses in the relationship of the man that you want, but like you said, it's inconsistent. And
Yes.
so you keep saying, well, he was great over here, or he was great with my kids, or he was great with my family, or I was sick and he took care of me. And then, maybe you don't hear from him for a few weeks, or all of a sudden he's going out on the weekends with the guys, and then, he comes back, and that kind of thing. So you have glimmers of the man that you want to be with, but it's not consistent.
Yeah, and remember, it's not a part-time job. It's a full-time job.
Right.
So
Right.
we have
Right.
to remember the person as a whole, not the parts we like. And I think it's really funny, is when we break up with somebody, or a marriage or a long-term relationship, and they broke up with us or they divorced us, is sometimes we can remember only the good things rather than the bad things. And then we're like blinded. We're blinded by, all the good stuff. Again, it's the entire package. It's not all the good. It's everything. It's the good and the bad.
That's so true. It's so true. And I guess we also have to remember, why are we dating in the first place? If we just want to have fun, that's great. But if we're really looking for love again, if we're really looking for a committed relationship, then we have to find somebody that, feels the same way. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, exactly. That's really important.
So let's see, we talked about the signs, we talked about when to have the conversation, we talked about key indicators in a relationship when, it's time to move on. Did we miss anything?
No, I think that's it. I think it's important for women, we as women, to honor ourselves and our needs. And if our basic needs aren't being met, that may be a time to move on. Because remember, if this is as good as it gets, it doesn't get better as you get further down the road into a relationship or marriage. So you can keep hoping, but hope is not a strategy.
Right. Wow, that's great, Suzanne. Wow, well, great discussion. I know I learned a lot, and I know our audience learned a lot. And actually, if you are listening to this and want to take a deeper dive into this topic, Suzanne is offering something amazing. It's a free masterclass, The Secrets to Meeting a Quality Man. It's online, it's completely free. Suzanne, you need to tell us a little bit more about this class and how ladies can register.
Sure. So, in this masterclass, I teach you the number one way to meet a quality man. Number two, I also share with you, if you're doing online dating and it's not working, it's not the site. There are quality men online, but there's something off with your profile. And I share with you what that could be and how to turn around. And hint, hint, I will tell you 99% of people make these mistakes. So you'll want to find out what that is. You can register for the masterclass. If you're watching the video, click right here on the video. Or if you're listening to the podcast, just go to yournextamazingstory.com and you click at the top of the webpage to register for that.